Hi there, sports fans. This is Kinito Henson, and I'm going solo tonight on Play It Right TV. My partner, Diane Castillejo, has to fulfill a commitment, a family commitment, so she's not going to be able to be with us tonight. But the show must go on, and what a show we've got for you! Because here in this program, for the next 30 or 45 minutes, we're going to talk about UAAP basketball, in particular, the De La Salle University Green Archers. And with us today, first off, head coach Derek Pumaran, right here.
Hello,
Coach
good
Derek,
evening. Hello,
nice to
good
see
evening,
you.
Ganito. Nice to see you, Ganito.
And now, we'd like to introduce you to someone who knows Philippine basketball like the back of his hand. He's been in the Philippines since 1995. He's been consulting with PBA teams. He is a skills coach back in the US, and he's here with his son. We'll introduce him a little bit later on. But first, let's say hi to Coach Lorian Watkins. Hi there, Lorian.
Hey, Canito. Good to see you again. Thanks for having me on.
All right. And now let's talk to the players, the Green Archers who are with us in this episode. We've got Coach Lorian Watkins' son, none other than Deshaun Winston from Central Michigan University, and now playing for the De La Salle Green Archers. Hi there, Sean.
Hi, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
And last but not the least, these two guys. They've been making waves just like Sean in the UAAP. They're playing in their first season. They're brothers. They're from Florida. First, we'd like to talk to or call on the older of the two brothers, Ben Phillips from the University of Miami. Hi there, Ben.
Salamat, Sir Dean. Thanks so much for having me.
And his brother, the man whose engine always runs on full octane, high octane, Michael Phillips from Creekside High School, Florida.
Hello, Sir Kinito. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us.
Okay, this is going to be an exciting episode because all we're going to talk about is basketball and, of course, your lives. Coach Derek, I just need to ask you this question. You're coming off a big victory against UST. That was last night. And that win, a 29-point victory, that was accentuated by the fact that LaSalle scored 112 points, the highest total any team has scored in the UAAP in 5 years. Coach Derek, LaSalle is known to be the top defensive team in the UAAP. What happened? All of a sudden, you turned offensive.
Well, I think we really executed well in that game last night, and everybody was buying into the system on what we were supposed to do offensively. And I'm very happy that we were able to do that because in the past, 7 or 8 games, it's only our defense that's keeping us afloat. We didn't really have a good offensive field goal percentage in the first 8 games. But in last night's game against UST, I think both ends of the floor we played it.
Well, congratulations for that win. Coach Derek, LaSalle's record is now 6-3. But if you look at that record, the 3 losses, 2 were to Ateneo, 1 was to UP. That loss to UP was by 2 points. You've also had some close wins. You had a 3-point victory over Adamson. You had a 4-point victory over National University. Games have been tight. Is this reflective of how tough the competition is in the UAP?
Well, of course, Kinito. No? Everything, every team, every school that we play will play us hard. So we have to be ready, and we've got to take care of business every time. And we expect that. I myself expect it. To be honest with you, I expect that all teams will be coming out on fire. There is no sorry team, even though their record, is down there. We know for a fact that they can play, and on any given night, they can beat us.
Coach Derek, you've gone full circle with LaSalle. You were LaSalle's first coach when LaSalle entered the UAAP in 1986, and now you're back in the saddle. How does it feel for you to go full circle? And of course, you've won a couple of championships for LaSalle. From LaSalle, you coach in the pros. You went to another school, but now you're back. You're back where you belong. How does it feel, Coach Derek?
Well, actually, I'm really excited. I was really excited when I got on board with LaSalle, and Probably it's about time to return back. No, this is where I started. No? I returned back that the things that I've done for the Salle for coaching. No, parang they need my services now, so I'm really happy to be back here in the South.
Well, that's great that Coach Derek Kumarin is back with LaSalle. And now let's move over to Coach Lorian. Coach, you know Philippine basketball. You've been in the Philippines visiting since 1995. You're married to a Filipina, Carla, and tell us why you like Philippine or check why you love Philippine basketball so much.
Philippine basketball. I mean, I've kind of been around the world, so I've kind of seen it from the obviously the perspective of the United States and then the Middle East and parts of Central America. But there's nothing like the fan base and the excitement of basketball in the Philippines. I'll never forget the first time when I came here, and I tell you, there was a basketball goal on every pole. Everybody wore a uniform from the time I left the airport to the time I hit the ground. It's just a really awesome place to be in the atmosphere of watching the true fans. I'm not talking about just celebrity who come out to bring their own notoriety to themselves, but I mean, these are real fans out here, man. It's just a passionate place for basketball. There's no other place like it in the world.
And now let's talk to Sean Winston. Sean, you had a spectacular debut in the UAAP with the LaSalle Green Archers. I almost said PBA, but the way you played, it's like you could have played in the PBA. You had 22 points in that first game. Then last night against UST, you erupted for 33 points. I know that you scored 43 points in one high school game a few years back. How did that feel, scoring 43 points and last night scoring 33 points? Did it feel the same? You were in the zone.
Yes, it felt the same. I I have similar experiences throughout my playing years. It's almost like being in the zone. There's been times when I was also in college where I had like 25 points in one half and 7 threes in one half. But it's almost like the zone, and I always try to practice trying to get there because once I'm there, it's well, you see what happened. But like that's the goal is to get there, and that comes through hard work.
Sean, Philippine style basketball is very different from the US style basketball. And I remember once we were having a conversation, and you said there's even something here called the Pinoy step as opposed to the Euro step. Tell us what you've learned, what you've seen in terms of Philippine style basketball so far.
In terms of Philippine style of basketball, after the first time we talked, we had some games in the UAP, and it's a little bit more physical. People play harder off the ball, and cutting through lanes. People play harder. There's a lot of bumps and hard screens and fighting through screens and stuff like that. So in terms of that, there is a little bit more physicality here in the Philippines. It's not bothersome, but it's something just to adjust to and get used to while being down here, which is obviously it's making me a better player all around. Is by being down here in the Philippines playing and adjusting to play style down here.
Let's talk to the Phillips brothers. First, Ben. Ben, you're a personality, and I know that you've written books. You're a scholar. You certainly are very fashion conscious. I think you're the only player in the UAAP who reports for work in the venue wearing a coat and tie. Well, what kind of statement did you wanna say, Ben?
Thank you, sir. I just want to follow in Coach Derek's footsteps. We actually have similar interests fashion wise. I have a lot to catch up with his style and some of his fits. We actually have the inside kind of joke where he calls me Swaggy Kuya and I call him Swaggy Coach. But in all seriousness, Coach tells us that we do need to take care of business. We need to make sure that we take care of work, and you can't underestimate any team. Dito sa UAP, so it's really about that mindset of checking into work, making sure all hands are on deck, and taking care of business at the end of the day.
Well, Ben, we've heard you speak in Tagalog quite a bit. This commitment to learn the local language, Is that coming straight from the heart? This is because of your Filipino roots. Tell us more, Ben.
Opo, kasi gusto ko yung natututo yung Tagalog kasama yung bunso ko kasi meron kami yung Filipino roots sa Cebu kasi yung lola kami, yung lola natin, diba? Galing sa Cebu. So it's really about the commitment to learn the local language. Especially kasi, gusto ko yung communicate with, mga teammates, mga coaches, and so I can understand trash talk on court. So if somebody, says something to me of the team or curses, I can understand what they're saying and what they're talking about. But it's really about, just the Filipino culture, watching a lot of teleseries, listening to OPM. So I really want to take a page out of my brother's book because he actually is my professor para sa Tagalog here.
Okay, now we talk to the professor, Michael, the younger brother. Michael, you've been making waves in the UAAP. You've been impressing a lot of people with your tremendous energy and intensity, grabbing rebounds, and scoring on putbacks. Tell us where you get this energy. Is it something that that's been a trademark of your game since you started playing basketball?
I think that I've always tried to have that as a part of my game because yung bata pa ako on the team has always been very great offensive guys, and so I just really gusto ko lang tulugan on team in any way I can, and so one of the biggest contributions is I really like doing the dirty work, being the workhorse. So so the really offensive minded guys can really shine, and so I just want to really make their lives a lot easier.
Well, Ben, you've got 4 years of playing years in the UAAP, and Michael has 5. Am I right with those numbers? Okay. Can you tell us a little bit of your background, Ben, playing in the U.S., and what brought you over to the Philippines? Same thing with Michael.
So I'll start. So para sa akin I played high school basketball, soccer, high school volleyball. Back in Fairfield, Ohio. So I went to high school in Ohio. And after graduation to high school, I decided not to pursue basketball or athletics at a Division I level because I really wanted to learn and study business. So I went to Miami University, Oxford, Ohio, to finish my undergrad course in business. And but I still played intramurals and still made sure to play in some leagues. Pero I wasn't heavily recruited to the Philippines, and so when Michael got the opportunity, I was only following along just to make sure that he had his toothbrush, he had his academics in order. I was just the kuya, just making sure he was okay. And I ended up, trying out and walking onto the team. So it's just a lot of hard work. I'm not the most talented, player. I'm not here to score all the points. I'm just like Michael. I'm here to provide the energy and really help, some of our scorers like Shawnee shine.
What about you, Michael? What's it like having your older brother with you?
It's definitely just a blessing. I mean, it was never, in my mind that I would be playing college basketball with my brother just because of the age difference. But it really has been a blessing. Just coming here has been just a big leap of faith. And because in high school, there was a lot of opportunities and I wasn't really, sure where to go. But when I came here, it was really, God speaking to me that this is really where I needed to be and where my heart was. And so being here has just been a surreal experience for me.
Let's go back to Coach Lorian. We know that you've been in the Philippines lots of times in several visits. In 1995, you were here and you worked with the PBA franchise. You worked with Coach Norman Black, team manager Elmer Yanga. You brought in imports like Sean Higgins, Joe Hooks, Galen Robinson. You worked with Coach By Cristobal. You were also with By Cristobal with the Philippine national team, women's team that played in the Southeast Asian Games. What is it with Philippine basketball that you love so much and that you ended up marrying a Filipina? Tell us, Lorian.
It's such a passionate place for basketball. I mean, I've kind of traveled the world and did this whole thing in places that was supposed to be where basketball was at its greatest peak and they had the best athletes and all of this. But I've never found a place in the world that's more passionate about basketball like the Philippines. And I just fell in love with that situation. I mean, I came here with kids that were eager to learn, and it made me feel fulfilled in being able to teach them. So I'll never forget the first day, or the first time I came and left and was at the airport with Coach Bai and a group of people, kids actually. I was crying, they was crying because the bond was so close. And to me, I finally had found the purpose of what I wanted to do, and that was to be a service to young people and teaching the game of basketball. And there was no other place to do it than the place where I felt more appreciated, and that just happened to be the Philippines. And I don't know. I don't know if I had an eye for Filipino girls or not. I was just here doing basketball, but I ended up marrying one.
Coach, I know that you run the Pro Skills Academy out of Los Angeles, and you've taken care of Sean since he was 10 years old in terms of his basketball abilities. Tell us what it's like finding someone like Sean and then seeing him mature and grow to the man that he is now. Careful, because Sean is listening.
It's honestly been a blessing, because a lot of times you have a natural kid, and sometimes as parents, when we been involved in the game of basketball as much as we have, and we kind of impose it upon a kid. But I think the blessing of it all is that as much as I love basketball, he had that same passion for basketball. So it was not anything that I had to force on him, and it just kind of meshed in such a perfect way. And he's a real detailed kid, and I'm a real detailed type of teacher. And it's just been a blessing to watch a kid work hard and kind of follow the blueprint, the way things is scripted, and to find his success with it and find his own personality and putting his own signature in the game the way he's done. I mean, I've watched him play everywhere, from high school to college. Wherever he was, I went to watch him play. He's here, I'm going to watch him play. And it's just a lot of fun to watch him grow and develop in the game.
Sean, we were talking some weeks back about how different the NCAA is in the US from the UAAP here. With the NCAA over in the US, it's a lot of schools. And here, you're really talking just 8 schools. How is that? Is that a big difference in terms of how you prepare for a game?
Yes, it's a huge big difference, because there's only 8 teams to choose from to be your favorite 8 teams, instead of 158 or 200 teams out there in the United States. So the fan base here is totally different, and it runs really deep. And I got seen that through the LaSalle fans. They're very passionate. Win or loss, they always tell us that they support us, support the team no matter what. And you can really see the pride in the LaSalle alum, and the way is that the fans here really, 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 truly love basketball. Like, they're gonna watch the UAAP basketball. That's like the number one thing to watch, and I feel that when I'm here. And it's not the same as when we're in the States.
Sean, you were telling me that you went up against some very famous names in basketball in the US. Can you tell us some of those famous names that you went up against?
So in the US, well, especially where I'm from, Los Angeles, it's like a really hot spot for good basketball players. So growing up, I've played against, starting from young, I played against like LaMelo Ball, Aaron Holiday. In college, I played against Thibault. I played against Chemezi Metu, Jordan McLaughlin. These are all NBA players now. Tyler Dorsey plays in Europe. Who else? So I've been constantly competing with these guys in the NBA, just from being from Los Angeles or in college. It's really a hot spot for talented basketball players.
Coach Derek, looking at the record of LaSalle right now, and with the games upcoming, there's still a game against UP to contend with. And plus, Adamson will always be a tough nut to crack, along with FEU and the other teams on the way to the playoffs. How do you see LaSalle's chances of making it to the Final Four And do you think Ateneo is unbeatable?
Well, chances, I think we just, as long as we take care of things, I've been telling my boys here that as long as we take care of things and we take it one game, one step at a time, I think we'll be able to make it to the Final Four, which is our immediate goal. No? The immediate goal here in the UAP is to make it to the Final Four. And we work our way up and try to make it to the finals, and hopefully we play Ateneo again in the finals.
And Coach Derek, the two losses that Salle suffered to Ateneo, the second loss was a close one. The losing margin of 7 points was the lowest any team has come to trying to beat Ateneo. Do you feel that from every game there is improvement with the way La Salle has been playing?
Well, definitely, no, definitely we're improving. No, we just have to play the game 40 minutes. And when you play Ateneo, you cannot just play them 20 minutes or 12 minutes or what, but you gotta play them the whole game for 40 minutes. So we have to play them with LaSalle basketball for 40 minutes. But it's a definite that we've been improving every game, and hopefully, as I've said, once we get to the Final Four, we just have to work our way up and try to catch Ateneo.
Coach Derek, I have to ask this question. It's almost been like a La Salle tradition that players from La Salle do not consistently make free throws. Is that a curse? Is that a curse? What's going on with that tradition? Is that
Well,
something that's going to eventually go away? Coach Derek.
I really don't know. In fact, that's what I explained to the boys. That's one of the dilemma of the LaSalle basketball team is a free throw shooting. So hopefully that we'll be able to do some changes now in the future. Maybe now we need it this season, but we'll definitely make an effort to change that field goal percentage as far as free throw is concerned.
I think it's improving, Coach. Okay, now we're at the point of our program where we're going to ask very quick questions to each and every one of you. We're about to close this program, so before we close, we want to ask you these questions. Let's start with Deshaun Winston. Let me ask you this question right now. Your most memorable matchup ever?
My most memorable matchup ever would any time playing basketball or
Anyone,
what
anyone.
anyone. Let's say the game my high school game when I scored 43 points, and that is the most memorable because I scored 43. But not only that, my brother, which was also playing, had 30. Um, the person I was playing against was my childhood friend on the other team, and he had 37 points. And from that game, we both ended up going to college together, and we both got a scholarship from that game and went to college together. So that opened up doors through that game.
That's unbelievable. Your brother scored 30 in that game?
Yeah, it was 100. The score was both in the hundreds. So I had 43. My brother had 40. My little brother had 20 something.
Oh,
And then the
wow.
person I was playing against had 37. And from that game, we played against each other. And it was like two best friends playing against each other. And we ended up being roommates in college. We started off high school together, transferred to two different high schools, played against each other, got a scholarship to the same college. We're roommates in college, and it all came from that game back in high school. So it sparked
Oh,
a lot
that's
of things.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay, Ben Phillips, your favorite Tagalog expression?
Gawin natin ng
Wait,
paraan.
hold on.
Gawin ng paraan.
Okay, well, that's Michael talking. Okay, Ben, your turn. Your
Uh,
favorite Tagalog expression?
Siguro sus mediosip. Kasi I hear it
Okay,
a lot to practice.
okay. Michael, dunk or layup?
Ano po yun?
Dunk or layup?
Dunk. Dunk.
Okay. Coach Derek, best teacher of the game?
Best teacher of the game. A coach? A coach? You're talking about a
Yep.
coach? Can you tell?
Yeah, I would think.
Um, you want the person? May to name a
Yeah,
person?
person. Mhm.
Well, I think Ron Jacobs influenced me to be here right now.
Okay. Ron Jacobs. I think your father should be also up there. Coach
Yep,
Pilo.
of course.
Coach Lorian, your favorite NBA player. Coach Lorian, your favorite NBA player. Coach, can you hear me? Coach? Coach, can you hear
Yes.
me? Okay. Coach Lorian, your favorite NBA player.
Yeah, I can. You broke up.
Okay. Okay. This my question for Coach Lorian. Your favorite NBA player.
Oh wow. My favorite NBA player. Well, probably Calvin Murphy. I was always a small guard, so I've always liked Calvin Murphy. He was a tough guy. I mean, obviously there's a lot of guys they call the GOAT, but that was my guy, Calvin Murphy.
Wow. The pocket rocket.
Yes.
Deshaun Winston. Who's the best three-point shooter in the UAAP outside of the LaSalle team?
The best 3-point shooter on the UA. Oh wow, there's one thing I learned is a lot of people shoot threes really well here in the Philippines. Number 13 for FU. He shoots pretty well.
Oh, that's Abarientos. That would be Abarientos, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
he shoots pretty well.
Michael Phillips, the toughest to defend in the UAP.
Oh, that's a good one. The toughest to defend. I would say that the import of FEU Owaje, sorry if I butcher his name, he's always active. He's very active. He always tries to steal you in the paint and in battle for rebounds. And so he's very physical, and I love going up against him.
Ben Phillips, the best center in the UAP outside of LaSalle.
Best center in the UAP. I actually have to give my hats off to Kwame. He does his job really, really well, and he protects the rim, and he can actually score. So he's a pretty good center.
Okay, Coach Lorian, who wins in the NBA Finals? Who wins in the NBA Finals?
I like Phoenix. I like Phoenix.
Deshaun Winston, one aspect in your game you'd like to improve.
Consistency, being consistent.
Okay.
That's doing what I do more often and having consistent nights, back to back nights.
Okay. Coach Derek, the best thing you like about LaSalle?
The animal spirit.
All right. Ben Phillips, what's the favorite music you like to listen to before playing?
Jazz.
Okay. Michael Phillips, your favorite actress?
Actress Catherine Bernardo. Easy.
Okay. Wow. Well, that came fast. That name came out fast. Coach Lorian, your best PBA import ever?
I have two.
Okay.
I like Turquin Mott and I like Devin Davis.
All right. Two good choices. Coach Derek Pumarin, what do you prefer? Coaching pros, coaching in college?
Coaching in college.
And my last question for Coach Derek, who wins in the PBA finals?
Meralco.
Meralco, all right. Meralco's down 2-3, but there's a big game 6 going on. All right, well, guys, thank you very much for coming on board on this episode of Play It Right TV. It was enjoyable. It's nice to see everyone's faces light up. You're coming off a big victory over UST. It's still a long road ahead, but I know you're looking championship. I know you want to go back to the top, and I know you want to do this because of LaSalle. And, before we let you go, can we ask for your final comments to all the LaSalle viewers, to all the basketball fans, to all the UAP fans? Deshaun, your last few words before we let you go.
Go Green Archers.
All
That's
right.
my last words. Go Green Archers.
Thanks, Deshaun. Coach Lorian, your final words.
Philippine basketball rules.
All right. The Phillips brothers, Michael and Ben.
Opo, just maraming salamat sa lahat ng suporta. Lalaban po kami sa inyong lahat. We will fight each game with the animal spirit. Go Archers.
Animal LaSalle.
All right. And finally, Coach Derek Pumaren.
Well, like thank you for all the support, and please continue to support and pray for the De La Salle Green Arts.
Thanks very much, guys. And more power to LaSalle. The animal spirit will always be alive. Thanks, guys.
Animo.
Thank you. And that ends our episode of Play It Right. We were all green tonight. The LaSalle Green Archers coming in full force. You met not only Coach Derek Pumaren, the head coach of the LaSalle University Green Archers, but also the father of Deshaun Winston, Coach Lorian Watkins, who is in Manila to watch all the games of his son. You've met Deshaun Winston, and you've also met the Phillips brothers, Ben and Michael. Michael, you know him because of his tremendous intensity and energy. Ben, the same thing. Deshaun Winston, 22 points in his first game, 33 points against UST. LaSalle is speaking slowly but surely on the way to the playoffs. It's still a long road ahead, as we said, but the record is 6-3, and they're hoping to even improve on that record as the playoffs come around. So thank you very much for joining us on Play It Right. This is Kinito Henson, and don't forget to like and subscribe, Play It Right TV, and hit that bell button for notifications. Also, let's not forget playitright.com. And this is a website where you can get a lot of cool stuff, sports equipment, ASIC shoes, butterfly table tennis equipment, Mueller sports medical stuff, molten basketballs, and a lot of other stuff that you can only find if you log on to playitright.com. So set, spike, and dominate. This sport is for you, and playitright.com will always be there for you. And we'll also be here for you every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Play It Right TV. This is your host, Kinito Hansen, saying, see you all again next time.